paid, the court's paid a fee for each of those cases, whether they're, whether you have a fine for the offender or not?
With the
How does that
traffic
work?
court cases for the speeding tickets, for instance, or a moving violation for that matter, the state mandates that or imposes a $35 court cost. Part of that goes to the state, part of that stays with the city and town. And then the fees they charge for the tickets are imposed as well by statute.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a statute that lays out the traffic offenses and what the charges would be and what the enhanced penalties would be, for instance, for someone who may have come in front of me with 8 speeding tickets in 2 years, and those penalties get enhanced. But that's laid out by statute. The ordinances in the town of Bristol, town of East Greenwich, lay out their own penalties.
For instance, parking tickets. If you park in a particular location in Bristol, you might get a handicap violation. You might have to pay $100. Parking tickets elsewhere, $10. In the city of Providence, they're pretty hefty, $25. So they're set up by the city and town ordinance.
Well, since you set this up, I suppose if this were considered an outrage of the week, this was not just of the week, but considering someone else other than in traffic court set the law that you're supposed to be taking care of setting speed limits to preserve the safety of an individual. Clearly, if you are setting up traffic stops and radar guns at the bottom of a hill, this had less to do with safety when you know that someone's automatically going to be picking up speed unless they slam on the brakes, but it's been endured for decades. Clearly this wasn't an issue about safety, it was about revenue enhancement, and it wasn't ever supposed to be set up that speeding traps such as this were supposed to be just for revenue enhancement. But I know several towns in which it happens. As those who have to endorse that, what do you?
I'm going to quote
the
great Judge Frank Caprio, whose response to that question was, "My job is not to be a revenue enhancement officer. My job is to interpret the law and apply the law as it applies to the particular facts."
Yes.
How was that?
That's very good.
That means you're stuck.
And you're stuck. And
change the law.
What do you think the biggest complaint I get sometimes with people in a similar situation is I'm driving with the flow of traffic and they pulled me over?
Yes. It's arbitrary and capricious, David.
That's what they say.
Yes.
But if you're violating the statute, you're violating the statute.
But just me? They isolated me. Seems hardly fair. And you're not going to back that. You're not going to excuse that, I suppose, Judge.
I think what they're trying to do is enforce the law to the best of their ability.
As it's been recommended, they should change some of those speeding tickets.
Oddly enough, I think AAA once a year comes out with a report as to which cities and towns to be more vigilant as you're driving through them, because they tend to have more police officers patrolling for speeders and so on and so forth.
In each of your respective courts, are there trends that you see? I guess we read so much about DUIs and underage DUIs. Is there an uptick in that? Is there a single kind of case that you seem to see that there's trending for?
We don't have jurisdiction over driving under the influence.
Okay.
That's exclusive to district court.
Okay.
We do see a lot of the charges that flow from that stop, because usually when someone's pulled over, it's a lane roadway violation, meaning they shifted in and out of a lane. That's why they were pulled over, or other erratic driving. I had a trial actually a week or two ago for someone who was pulled over for going through a stop sign. And his biggest complaint was he didn't get pulled over for almost a mile after the stop sign at 1:30 in the morning. And there was a reason for that. The police officer was following him at 1:30 in the morning to see if he was driving erratically or if there was grounds to think that he might have been driving under the influence. He might have been able to just do that with the traffic stop for the stop sign, and then if he smelled alcohol, but it certainly enhances his case if he can observe his driving beyond the stop sign that he was posted at. Driving under the influence is obviously a big issue in the state, and it's being enforced very strongly, but we don't have jurisdiction over that.
And where is that going?
That's the district court.
If there's a refusal to take a breathalyzer,
The traffic
tribunal. Yep, so we don't see those at all.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. You're paid as judges?
Our pay is set in accordance to the budget presented by the town council. So no, we are paid very part-time. And again, we serve at the pleasure of the town council. So no, we're not even a tenth or a fifth of what judges get paid.
I'm paid as an independent contractor.
Oh.
And there's, obviously several reasons for that, but the pay isn't the reason Jackie and I do it. We do it for the love of the public and helping the good of
So that's
the
a public
state.
service.
Public service.
Exactly.
That's a good thing. Well, as a municipal court judge, that makes you likely to serve and do public service. I was very interested in reading the judiciary of Rhode Island and seeing that with our Supreme Court, we have 1 chief, 4 justices. Superior Court, 1 presiding justice, 21 associate justices, 1 general magistrate, 1 special, 3 other magistrates, on and on. In each of these courts, family court, 1 chief judge, 11 associates, district, 1 chief.
There's only 9 associates right now. We're short 2.
We're sure, there are 2.
And I'm on a list
Appointed-
if you want to help me
Oh, good.
get
Send your
appointed.
vote toward,
Yeah.
to ABCG or to...
Judge
to
Jeremiah is
whom?
listening.
Yeah.
We have
Is that
a
who they'd
great
send it to?
soon-to-be judge, no.
But district court,
And I wish
family
him well,
court,
he's not been well.
good luck. District court, family court, workers' compensation, 9 associate judges. For such a small state, do we really need, and do we really have a backlog of cases considering there are so many judges?
Wow, that sounds like a question that was posed to the General Assembly when they said, do we really need 125 legislators? And they reduced it to whatever it is, 75?
Right. But the answer is we do.
Yeah.
Based on the
backlog.
volume of cases that go through the court system, start with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is 1 chief judge, and did you say 4 associates, a total of 5?
4 justices, yes.
Right. And that's not a large Supreme Court. And they do a lot of work, and it needs to be an odd number because they can dissent. Superior Court is the court that has jurisdiction over all civil matters that are over $10,000 exclusively, 5 to 10 it's concurrent with district court, and felonies. And misdemeanor in the second instance, felonies in the first instance. There's a tremendous volume of cases that go through the Superior Court. And district court is even bigger.
And there's just a small claims, I was in the paper last week, the amount of cases they have, the backlog
Right.
because of the economic conditions we're in right now.
Right, there are certain banks and credit card companies and so forth that have had special meetings, as I understand it, on how they're going to file the thousands of cases that they have in their own to file in the state of Rhode Island. Our judiciary does a good job of handling the volume, but it's not over personneled.
Interesting. It just seemed like there was
As a
quite,
matter
there
of
were
fact,
quite a few.
I think there's a shortage.
Well, for helping us to understand how to solve some legal issues and even where to, we thank you once again. Jackie Grasso, David Bizarre from Odette Bizarre Cadero Grasso Law Firm in East Providence. We continue to invite your questions, and hopefully you will continue to email them. I think we're probably better prepared to face Jackie and David if we need to. We thank you for staying tuned to legal matters, and those discussions will continue. Next week, next session, do you have a thought?
Whatever you want.
It might be a surprise.
Surprise. Please stay tuned. Legal Matters continues.